Hello, and welcome back to Concert Critiques in Parked Cars with Emily. I'm really excited about this show. At the beginning of the pandemic, this band was kind of like, nah, we're gonna pass on this whole live stream thing. So I was kind of not expecting to get a chance to do this type of review. But when I heard that their new album was coming out and that they were doing a release show with it, I was really excited. And so yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. I'm really excited. So the show was 21 Pilots. And again, they kind of released their new album, Scaled and Icy. So this was their show to kind of, I guess, encourage that, or not encourage, but you know, anyway. So it opened with an animated control panel and kind of did like an aerial of Dima. So that's like where I guess this setting takes place, which is exciting to me because so when they first announced that they were writing a new album, I remember a lot of people in terms of like DJs and people who were interviewing them were talking about, okay, well, this is either going to like go with the Blurryface Trench, whatever this new album's going to be, like saga, or it's going to be something totally different because of this whole pandemic. So I was really, really glad to see that this is clearly like continuing on that storyline. So I'm really excited about that. I was glad to see that. So then you get into like this morning show called Good Day Dima. And you have like a very chatty, like over the top two hosts, a male and a female. And Tyler's just sitting there quietly in the middle, and you can see his ear things in. So I was like super pumped about that. And then their voices kind of like become like distant and kind of like demony and like weird. And then they fade, and then Tyler starts to sing the lyrics of Choker. He stands up, and the hosts are like totally frozen next to him. And like the set gets pulled, and you go into the stage. That's very Scaled and Icy, like the pink, yellow, blue rainbow with like these dragon parts, which were really cool. I really like those. And Josh is there on his drum set. Yeah, I really liked that song, and I liked that they kind of played it like they would on stage. Like there was nothing really like explosive or like crazy. It was just like the stage pulled away. This is what it would be like if they were on stage singing the song. So I actually really liked that part of it. So then people in red hoods came, and Tyler walked to another stage as Stressed Out started. So the stage was like red, and it had it was almost like a two-tiered stage, right? So it was like a square and then another square underneath it, and then on the edges of each square was lights. So the white lights were around the edges of the stage. And then the people in the Dima hoods stayed on the stage, and they were like singing and they were dancing throughout the song. Then they went right into Migraine, which so while the music of Stressed Out was playing, they went to the lyrics of Migraine, and the stage changed to a blue color, and I loved the transition. I thought it was so well done. I really, really liked it. They had like a crowd on the screen after that, so this like crowd that was clearly shot beforehand came onto the screen, and it was like an interesting thing. So he asked them to repeat after him, and like you heard as if a crowd were repeating after him, and they did morph with like that crowd sound behind it. And so yeah, I thought that was interesting, and definitely, you know, again, it's tough to play a show for no one, so I thought that was definitely an interesting way to do it. So you kind of have this like old footage or whatever of this crowd, and then you have obviously like the sounds as if it were a crowd. So I liked that. I thought it was a good way to kind of get crowd involvement without a crowd in a way. So I liked that. I thought that was interesting. But what I really loved about Morph was the breakdown as they transitioned into the next sound. So good. I know I'm going to say this a million times, but the transitions were just like, gosh, they were so good. Some of them were really seriously good. And I'm not just talking about like the physical transitions, because those were fun, but like the musical transitions were just like epically good. The only thing is that obviously they didn't play the entire song. So sometimes they played like a verse, a chorus, a verse. Sometimes it was verse, chorus. But obviously you miss out on that full like start to finish, which I tend to enjoy. But the transitions like made it worth it. They were just so fantastic. So then they went into Holding On to You, but just the bridge, right? Like the what's the part right before it? I can't think of it because I just have this one part written down. But then it goes into like the Entertain My Faith part. Right before you get the lean with it, rock with it, when we get with it. Sorry, I'm just so excited. So good. It was so good. I really loved this part. The background changed to like this raining. I loved the background. I loved this part. It was just so fantastic. And like right as the part is building, right? Like Entertain My Faith gets repeated so many times in the song, and then it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. Right as it's like about to build to like that last faith, right? He's like screaming the lyric faith. You get this like static. And the hosts come back from the morning show, and so they're doing an infomercial for Scaled and Icy. So they're like, this is like great, and like you should hear these songs, and it's really fantastic. And so the woman goes, just listen to this classic. And the static to Tyler at a piano with like a new background, which looks like the inside of like a club, like a small like venue. And then he like walks out the door and he goes into this alley scene, which was awesome. I really loved all the subtle things. Like one of the stores was called Food, Food something and etc. So it was a few proud emotional FPE. So I really liked that. They had like a Bayou thing with Ned's head outline. So I really liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. So Josh was on the drums. The people in the street were frozen, and man, it was impressive. The positions these people were in, you're like, please move. Please just, how are you not like totally shaking violently because you are standing in this really awkward position? It was really impressive. And so that was for the song Mulberry Street, and then you can see the sign Mulberry Street on the street. So I really liked that set. I thought it was really well done. I thought that was really cool. And they'll return to the set many times, but yeah, really liked that. I thought that was really awesome. And so then he goes back into the building. Again, you get that club feel. And then when he walks out again, everyone who was still is now moving, and then they kind of begin dancing. So I really liked that. I thought that was a cool effect. And really loved, like I said, the subtleties in the background. I thought that was really fun. They had, on the other side of the street, they had a couple other stores too that were very, very 21 Pilots related. So I really liked that. So then you like hear this voice in the background, and you see like these like strange green and blue lights moving, and like people's faces with the Niner paint, right? So it's like the black like over the nose and kind of down the chin. And yeah, so then you hear the voice and the speech from like Stay Low from Lane Boy. And then the song starts, so obviously that was Lane Boy. And they had the hazmat suit guys, so that was a nice like throwback to that show. You're like, oh, I miss live music. He wore his flower shirt that he tends to wear. And then two people were frozen with instruments, and then they only started moving once the instruments came in. I really, really liked the different instrumentals in this song. Like so different from even like the actual digital like recording of the song, but also from previous shows that I've been to. So I don't know if I was just like super in tune to it because I was sitting down and not like rocking out, but I really liked the changes. So I thought that was really cool. And I'm definitely interested to see if now in coming up, like shows coming up, if those instrumentalists will actually be on stage with them. Cause I know it's like, just these two guys, but this show had more people on stage at the same time, and they weren't just dancers. So I am interested to see if in the future, once things get back to normal, if they're going to continue to have like a keyboardist and a guitarist or bassist for certain songs. So yeah. So then at the end of that song, they actually added lyrics from Redecorate. Oh, it was so good. It was like it was so good. He just like kind of like, it was almost like rappy, like right at the end. Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. Really, really loved that. Again, like in the grand scheme of things, I would love to see the actual full song of Redecorate. That was one of my favorite songs. And again, I've only had this album for a day, so I definitely need to like listen to it more and more. But just like a one run through, that was one of like the songs that really caught my attention. So definitely want to see more of that live. But for the time being, definitely satisfied my need for that. It was so well done, and again, it's like kind of subtle in a way. It was just excellent. Really, really enjoyed that. So then they went into Chlorine and had the barrels as the background. And then everyone walked off the stage, and you just like follow Tyler's feet. And so you see him drop the flower shirt and then put on some other jacket thing that's at least long enough to kind of go to be able to see it with the feet. So I liked that transition, the physical transition. I thought that was pretty cool. And so then you see him like walking into this snow while Chlorine is still playing. So Chlorine is like on it, like almost on a loop, like that one line is kind of just repeating, it's kind of ending, the song is ending, and then they start playing Shy Away, and it's like this dining room set, and there's like the snow, and it's so good. I really, 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 really liked the set for this one. I thought it was really fantastic. It was just like so great. He gets on the table at one point and starts kind of like walking around the table, and you can actually see like the snow like in the insole of his boot. So I just really liked that. Again, like you can't really do stuff like that in a normal concert environment. So I loved that they really took advantage and made it like authentic, and it wasn't just like this like idea of a snowy dining room. It legit was a snowy dining room. So I really, really liked that. Really loved the set for that song. And also just like good seeing the song. So that was awesome. I also really liked seeing like all the offstage stuff. So there were a couple times where cameras caught each other, which I liked. I know that's weird, but it was like, it felt more real to me. And, you know, you can see the mics and you see the pedals on the edge of the stage. So I really liked that. And I thought that was, you know, just like those little subtle things that you're like, oh, I miss seeing those things at concerts. So then you get Static back on the TV to the TV show hosts, and the guy like looks beat up, and the woman's makeup is like a little bit weird, and she has like a red splotch on her like, I don't know, ascot, I don't know what you call it. The guy had a black eye and a bloody nose with blood on his shirt. So yeah, so then they, you know, are talking about, again, they're kind of like going off script, and you're like, what's going on? They're kind of like, she's like about to say like, and don't forget, and then it goes Static again. And you go back to the street scene, but at this time it's at night, and it's supposed to be like people trying to get into a club, so they're standing in line, or which is that club that he was in before. And so he has a new fun shirt, which I thought was cool. And so this song was The Outside. Definitely had this like awesome dancer scene where the dancer kind of comes up and Tyler's like, what? And then she kind of like goes in front of him, and he kind of like follows her a little bit. I really liked that. I thought that was a really cool interaction between them. And then you see Josh, and he's in his skeleton hoodie, and towards the end of the song, Tyler climbs up on the scaffolding, which is oh my gosh, what's that called? Fire escape in the street, and for the bridge part. And so at the end, so I thought that was pretty cool. So then he like goes, he leaves the fire escape before the end of the song. So then this woman comes onto the fire escape and throws water onto the street, and so you kind of see like it slow-mo fall into the street and kind of like spread out onto the street, and then it becomes a sky, like you start seeing these like stars, and so you are under the impression that now it's a sky with stars kind of blinking in. And then you see Tyler on a boat with just one little like lamp, which was very AJR. Just saying. I'm just kidding, but I'm not, because it literally was like AJR. But yeah, so anyway, they played Heathens, and it was just Tyler who was in his skeleton thing, and I really loved the version of Heathens. It was just him and his ukulele. But it actually wasn't, kind of, you could definitely hear some other instruments and stuff in the background. Really loved this version. It like wasn't acoustic, but it was kind of acoustic. I don't know. It was just really good. I really enjoyed it. And then legit just transitioned into trees. Guys, the transition was so good. I know I said I was going to say this over and over again, but really the transition was so good. It was just, I can't even tell you. Guys, it was so good. It was probably my favorite musical transition this whole show. It was just so epic. The only problem I had was that it was trees, not at the end. But if they're gonna do trees in this way, this was the perfect opportunity, right? Because trees during a normal show, you need to have the crowd to totally embrace and just enjoy that, like, 4 minutes of pure elation. So the fact that you knew you weren't going to have that crowd, this was the perfect way to incorporate that song. So loved it for this show. Really hope that's not a new thing. I really love when you end on trees, so please continue doing that. But again, for this show, it was perfect. Just such a good moment. Oh, I could rewatch that over and over again. All right, so after that, you switch to, you see Josh holding a torch, and he's in his trench outfit with the yellow tape. And then he like goes onto a stage for a jumpsuit with like the mountains from Jumpsuit, that video, in the back as the background. And then you like immediately get transitioned into Heavy Dirty Soul with the burning car, and the background changes and you actually see the road that the car is on. Again, great transition, really loved it. The music was super different for the second chorus in Heavy Dirty Soul, and I loved it. Loved the instrumentals. So again, these people were on the stage for this, so I'm really interested to see if this was like the segue into, look, we're a two-man band, but when we're on tour, we're going to start incorporating more instruments. Then you get the static, and you get back to the hosts, and this time their eyes are like reptilian, and there's definitely more cuts and stuff, and you can kind of tell their skin is starting to like, I don't know, shed. Just kidding. So they're definitely more beat up, and this time you like pan out of the television, and you see Tyler sitting on a couch. And so then they play Saturday, which I really liked. You get like this house party vibe. They have a disco ball eventually. You get like this 70s wallpaper with the 70s like brown and oranges. I actually really enjoyed this song. So I don't know if it was just watching it all happen, but when I listened to it the first time, and again, maybe it was just because I wasn't in the right headspace listening to it the first time, I was like, about Saturday, but watching it live, it was fantastic. I was like, man, this song is so good. Like, I definitely am glad that I didn't just brush this song off because it's excellent. And again, maybe it's just seeing it as opposed to just like and only hearing it, but man, I enjoyed that way more than I thought I was going to. And I also loved, so like at one point, he goes to pick up the phone and Jenna's on the other line. So I thought that was really cute. So I liked that. That was a good little touch. And then so Tyler and Josh kind of leave the stage and the dancers kind of dance off, and then Tyler comes back in as they walk to a different stage to play Level of Concern. Really loved the trumpet part. I definitely need to go back and listen to see if there is a trumpet part in the original, but man, the trumpet part really stood out. And again, maybe it's because you're looking at the trumpet player playing the trumpet, but it was just, I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. So yeah, I really liked that. And the differences in the song, like especially for the bridge part, I really, really liked. And that was when they played it on Jimmy Fallon like a year ago. I really liked the difference in the bridge, and so that's what I was hoping and am hoping to see come live shows, that they change the lyrics and they kind of change so I'm hopeful, and they did do that, so I was really excited about that. So I thought that was really good. Then they went into Ride. Really liked how they sang the song differently. Thought that was really cool. The lights dim, and then you get piano and drums, and it's car radio. Oh gosh. So Tyler was in a ski mask. I really loved the sky images, like, so there were lasers going on behind them, and so for the chorus at least, like when the lasers would be wide, you could see like clouds and stuff in between them, so I really liked that. I thought that was cool. And then I loved because you stopped after My Car had sound, and then you just like stopped. So good. Really loved that pause. He got up onto the piano, and then he like fell off, and so I wonder if he was going to do a backflip, or if they like genuinely was just like, because so he doesn't really do backflip for this song, right? It's usually for Holding On to You. So I was curious if they were just going to try and slip it in, or because usually for Car Radio, that's when he climbs, they go to the backstage and he climbs that little tall tower thing. So was that the attempt to climb something, or was that the attempt to do a backflip and then he like legit fell off? I don't know. If you know and want to comment, that'd be awesome. To me, it didn't seem like he accidentally fell off. It seemed like it was purposeful. Because, you know, he kind of like went towards the front and like kind of just dropped to the stage again. So yeah, I don't know. If you know, that would be awesome. But after that, he takes the mask off and is kind of kneeling on the ground for the end of the song. And then immediately when the song ends, you get this like red lights and alarms are going off and the lights are kind of spinning. And people are kind of running around, and he's walking off the stage and through the floor of the venue. And then they go back to the street scene. So he makes his way back to the street scene, and they do Never Take It. And so I really like that song. I thought that was good. I liked that physical transition. I thought that was really cool. So, and then you see the dragon figurine on the floor, and Tyler walks off the stage, and back to the set of Good Day Dima. And then he sings the last or lines of Choker again. And then like, that's it. Then you kind of see like this like aerial shot of the whole set, and everyone's clapping, and then the credits rolled to Bounce Man. That was it. It was a little bit short. I mean, it was only an hour, but also I guess it was not as expensive as a ticket, so not necessarily super disappointed there. Again, I like to hear songs from start to finish, but I thought the music transitions were just like unbelievably good. Like, just so good. I really, really love the transitions. Any subtle difference in the singing I really enjoyed. I also really, really loved the fact that songs that I, again, only listened to once, so I can't say that I loved or hated them like immediately, but songs that I didn't have a connection to when I first listened to the album today, I now feel connected to because of the show. So I love that, and I'm really looking forward to re-listening to those songs in particular, but also just the album as a whole. So I thought that this show did a really good job of that for me. I thought some of the physical transitions were really awesome. Again, I like to hear the whole song. It was a little short. I would have liked a little bit more than an hour. I liked the idea of the show, the morning show thing, and that they were, I guess, turning into dragons in a way. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, gosh, this is so hard to judge. To score. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna give it, oh, that's right, I get to give letter grades because it's not a real show. I'll give this a solid A-. I wish it was a little bit longer, but I love the transitions. I really love the transitions and the subtle differences. Nope, I'm sticking with A-. I'm sticking with A-. It was great. I loved it. But I mean, there are obviously songs that I would have loved to hear, that I didn't hear. Yeah, I think it's A-. It was really good though, guys. Some of the transitions were just so good. And like, again, I loved Heavy Dirty Soul and Trees. Oh, that was such a great part. All right. Anyway, now I'm just like rambling. So please let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time, hopefully for a real show soon. That could be like insane. I'll actually be driving my car again and not just chilling in my garage. But yeah, it was great to see you, and I'm so pumped that I got to see 21 Pilots do a live show, live stream show. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and see you guys next time. Bye.